All right, welcome back to another episode of Classic Conversations. And today I have my brother from another mother, man, fellow New Yorker, professional wrestling enthusiast, professional wrestler, dabbled in professional wrestling. We'll get into that. Uh, Comic lover, anime lover, just everything that I have in common. We all have it, both have it in common, man. What's going on, Jonathan? What's going on, brother?
How's it going, my brother? How's it going? Everything's pretty good on this side. I'm down here in Texas waiting for a nasty storm.
Oh man, that's yeah. The weather up here, the weather up here is it's gonna get fucking nasty because it's gonna get cold up here. You know how it goes. You know how it goes.
Yep.
All right, man. So before we get into professional wrestling, obviously we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about a bunch of stuff, maybe video games or whatever. But before we get into all that, man, take us back a little bit, man. What was life like growing up in New York for you, man?
It was pretty interesting. I mean, I grew up in the South Bronx, so it was a lot of things that I thought were normal that I didn't realize weren't normal until I grew up, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, you're not supposed to be in the same neighborhood as drug dealers and looking up to them and loving Scarface and wanting to grow up to be Scarface and all that. But it was a great childhood, though, man. I can't complain. I running around the streets like everybody else in the Bronx, doing little dirty hood rat stuff.
Yeah, we've all done it, man. But yeah, no, so you grew up in the Bronx, man. I'm assuming you're a Yankee fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, as much as I could be, I'm not. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest sports guy. I've always been a little weird about sports because I wasn't able to play. I sucked. I was all fat and unathletic.
It's all good. It's all good, man. So what were your favorite video games growing up? I know you're a gamer just like I am. So what did you play growing up?
Honestly, growing up, I would play stuff like I don't know, I had a game. I had a lot of portable stuff. Like I had a PlayStation 2, I had an Xbox, I had a GameCube, but it was a lot of portable games I could take with me and sneak and hide in my bed around bedtime and shit. So I wanted to play. I wanted to play Pokemon on my Game Boy. I wanted to play Liberty City Stories on my PSP. I wanted to do stuff like that. I really gravitated towards the Pokemon though. I loved that damn game growing up.
Yeah, Pokemon is awesome. I lost track after like the fucking third generation, man. Like after everything third generation, I don't know what's what. You got like
Yeah, I
what's now?
stopped. I stopped too, a third generation, and then I came back. I don't know recently, and I'm trying to go backwards and play the ones I missed. I'll get to it.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So what are you playing now? What's in your systems now, or what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm playing Mass Effect. I'm playing Ratchet and Clank on PS5.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
playing. I'm always playing 2K. My son is playing. My son is using it now. Oh, WWE 2K rather, not NBA 2K.
Yeah.
2K19.
Please tell me you're only letting him play 2K19 and not
Yeah.
2K.
Oh God. Oh, you know it. I'm
Okay.
not gonna put him through that stuff. That horrible 2K20.
Oh boy, let's just hope that the extra year that they took on WWE 2K22 is worth it because yeah. Oh yeah, man. All right. So keeping in the theme of wrestling, man, you dabbled in professional wrestling, right? You're trained a little bit, right? Or
Yes,
you
I am. Yes,
or
I am.
trained.
It was it was a bit of a crazy situation in New York. The schools down there are a little if you don't have $3,500 to pay immediately,
Yeah, that's true.
the choices are gonna be weird. So the schools I went to, I'm not gonna name them because I don't want to get
Nah,
into
you ain't gotta do all that.
I don't get into any bullshit. But there were some places that I went where I got trained, but it wasn't by the people I paid to get trained by. So I was getting an education, but it wasn't like proper. So I would move to another school and then finish my education there.
Yeah, that's one thing in the wrestling business. Sometimes you look at a school and it says a certain trainer, and then when you get there, it's the assistant trainer, not by the
Well, but it's not even like that. It's more like the dude. It's not even like, I came to get trained by a famous wrestler. No, it's like I'm getting trained by like a dude who's training with me. Like I'm this dude's a student.
yeah, that's usually how it goes,
Yeah,
so
I'm like, I'm not paying for this. Like, homie don't know what the fuck he's doing.
so how's he gonna teach you if he don't even know what he's doing? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
what
yep.
it is, man. Holy shit. See, kids, is the wrestling business is not as cracked. Not all it's cracked up to be. That's the
Never is.
that's the lesson here. What do you call it? Okay. So speaking of wrestling, man, we were both at AEW Grand Slam recently. Oh man, what a show that was, man. Tell us a little about your experience, because I vlogged my experience. Well, I'll put a link in the description for in this video. But tell us a little bit about your experience.
Oh man, I had a great time. I've been to a lot of wrestling shows over the last I want to say 10 years. I started going to wrestling shows in 2011, and I've been at quite a few freaking shows. This one was special.
Yeah,
Just from the beginning, we got there early. We were in the parking lot. We were
right.
we were pre-gaming. I got to run into you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah, man. It was that was beautiful, man.
we ran into a lot of friends actually. That was very cool coming back to New York and seeing so many people that I knew in the same place. It's like a party. It was like a party.
Yeah, it was a very special night. Got home at like 3 o'clock in the morning, but
Same.
didn't go to sleep till like 7 because I had a whole bunch of other shit to do. So it was really tough, man. But hey, that it was all worth it. So okay, so what do you call it? What if you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh man, wear a condom. Nah, man. I stay in school too. I was a little wild boy. I used to cut school and it would get into trouble out down in New York around there. Definitely tell him to keep his ass in school. A little evil.
All right, so let's talk about your move to Texas. Like, why did you move to Texas? Have to move to Texas.
Basically, my wife is in the Air Force, and she got stationed in San Antonio, so I followed her over here.
Of course. And how do you like it out there, man?
It's a lot better than the place I was before. Like we left New York and I went to Ohio first. Ohio sucked. Ohio sucked. Well, there was one good thing, and the one good thing about Ohio was that I had my friend Danny. You know him, Danny
Yeah,
Rising.
yeah, of course, man.
He's great, and he was there to make my miserable experience just a little better. So I always appreciate that. But other than that, it was like poof. And San Antonio was a lot better compared to that place.
So speaking of Danny, and you and myself, we all are in a group called We Love Pro Wrestling, probably the biggest group on Facebook and probably most
Yes, sir.
popular group on Facebook. So let's talk a little bit about that, man. Like, how did you find out about the group?
I grew up using forums online. The wrestling, I don't know if you remember the old days, message boards and
Yeah.
forums, and I was a big forum guy, and we created a community in this place called Wrestling TV, wrestling.tv, and it was a forum as well as like a stream site. So we got in trouble and they shut it down eventually. So I was looking for a new place to kind of find a new community, and I found We Love Pro Wrestling on Facebook. So I joined, and I took part, and I left comments and everything. And eventually, I got a comment from a guy who used to own, or who still does own this site. We just don't see him much anymore, Dennis.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, you want to be an admin?" And I was like, "Oh man, I don't know if everybody knows me enough." And he made me an admin of the page first, and then he put me in the group and made me an admin of the group. And it's been like 8 years now.
Yeah, same here. It's been a wild ride. So for me, I was in the subsequent group before We Love Pro Wrestling started. It was called Ring Wars, you know. So Dennis was an admin over there, and then he had a falling out with the like head admin of the group, Roy Lucifer, which so he had a falling out with him, and then he started We Love Pro Wrestling, and then I wasn't an admin at first. I was in the group for about maybe 6 months, I would say, and then he just came to me one day. He said, "Hey, man, I want you on the team," and then the rest is history. It's been about 8 years for myself too, man. It's been one hell of a ride, man. If you're for those of you who don't know, man, it's crazy. We got like almost 90,000 members, man, and maybe like 10 or 15 of us trying to monitor 90,000 members and all the dumb shit. But you know, we have a great group of people. You know, there are those certain people that you know try to you know take advantage of it and you know come with the bullshit, but we don't allow it, man. We just get right on it. Um, and no, yeah. So okay, so besides pro wrestling, do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, yeah, I'm a podcaster. I do a podcast called Dirt Sheet Radio. It's about pro wrestling.
Oh man,
But I'm also I'm big into anime, big into all of the into comic books. I read a lot of comic books. I've worked in a lot of comic book stores, some of the biggest ones. I'm big into comics. I'm big into pop culture, really. I don't mind consuming. Like I'm like, it's all fun and entertaining. It's all fun and entertaining to me. I try not to lose myself in it.
oh man. Okay, so you said you're a part of Dirt Sheet Radio. So tell us a little bit about Dirt Sheet Radio and how that came up, how that came about.
Thirsty Radio is really it started off as an idea for a podcast, and I was like, hey, I'll do this podcast, and then it seems like people in the We Love Pro Wrestling group sort of respected my opinion, so I was like, well, let's see if they listen to a show. I don't know. And then I started cataloging the news, like all the wrestling news, because I wanted to have a place where I could go back and look through the news so I can know what to talk about during the week.
Right.
But eventually the page sort of grew into a hub for content, wrestling content, and as the page grew, the podcast grew, and then I spread the presence of Dirt Sheet Radio across 3 social media platforms now, and now I'm ready to start a website, dirtsheetradio.com.
Oh man, see, oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, dirtsheetradio.com. It's coming. Our boy Nick LaRocco is basically put the finishing touches on it, and it's coming. We're a dirt sheet. We went from being a dirt sheet podcast to being a dirt sheet with a podcast.
That's
Uh,
absolutely amazing, man. I listen every week, man. I'm an avid subscriber and
Thank you.
hope to get on the show one day. We'll talk about that, but
Hell yeah.
man, okay, so you know, I like to let my guests, you know, ask me one question. So do you have a question for me, something that you've always wanted to ask me, or something like that?
Well, I didn't really think of anything, but I guess I'll ask you. Uh, I mean, I don't want to waste it. I don't want it to be something silly.
Ah, no,
I'm gonna say,
it's either way, man. I gotta answer it no matter what. That's what I told myself.
I'm gonna say when it comes to pro wrestling and it comes to the fandom and it comes to the community, how grateful are you to have found this We Love Pro Wrestling family, and that just been able to have so much influence on the internet to be able to give our opinion to so many people.
Yeah, for me, We Live for Wrestling is home. Like I'm a part of so many pages. Like I have so many friends that run other pages. You know, Joe runs no wrestling limitations, and I'm a part of a bunch of other groups. But for me, pro wrestling will always be the place to be. We love pro wrestling will always be home for me, and always be the place to be because we have so many people from so many different corners of not just the United States, the world. I'm talking about like I don't even know the amount of countries that members are from, man. It's getting crazy to keep track of. Like knowing had I known that maybe 8 years ago when we joined, I'd have called Dennis a liar and said this is if he said this is what it's gonna grow into. But for me, man, I love the group so much. It's just getting to talk wrestling with just my friends, and some of them have become family, like you, man, like the man I'm talking to right now, man.
Oh,
So if it wasn't for this group, I wouldn't have the friends and the family that I have. So I'm extremely grateful, and I'll always be grateful, and I will never leave We Love Pro Wrestling until I leave this earth.
for life.
Yeah.
Hope you don't
Yeah,
shut the group
man.
down. Motherfucking Facebook.
Yeah, seriously, man. Yeah, so that's my thing. So what do you call it? So your Dirt Sheet Radio comes out every Tuesday, correct?
Yes, sir. Every Tuesday morning, a new episode of Dirt Sheet Radio, talking about all
All right,
the
cool.
latest pro wrestling news and rumors, all that good stuff.
I will put a link in the description for the video so people can follow the Twitter, the website, all of that good stuff. And man, I just want to thank you so much for doing this, bro.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
yeah. Of course, man. Of course. I had to, I had to get you on, man. Yeah, it was because I started doing this classic conversation series and I was thinking, who do I want to interview, man? And you were like one of my first choices, man.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Glad it
I
all
gotta
worked
get
out.
you on. I gotta get you on Dirt Sheet Radio. We record in the middle of the night, though. That's always the biggest
Hey,
issue when it comes to getting
listen, man.
guests.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Hey, I'm insomnia sucks. So hey, I'm fucking always up anyway. Whenever you ready to record and you want me on a show, man, I'm glad to talk wrestling. It doesn't matter for me, man.
Awesome,
All
awesome.
right, bro. We'll figure it out, man. Yo, again, thanks for doing it, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you for having me again.
it. All right. So this has been another episode of Classic Conversations. I am Izzy. He is Jonathan, and we are out of time. I will catch you guys on the next one.
See ya.
All right. Damn.